Hi everyone, and welcome to Best of Both Worlds. We're working on a hunter star, so stay tuned. My friend Janadine has made this beautiful hunter star, and she worked so hard on it. She had a wonderful backing for it, but when she came over to my house and saw some of the Minkies that I have, she chose a black hide for the backing. So I am so excited to see how this turns out front and back. So let's get started. I'm just going to finish this little part of the border, and so I need to show where it's going to be. So I will just come right along here, and I'm going to be very accurate on this, make sure I'm right where I know I will be. So I'm in between two borders. Then I will go to the screen and show you how I can put that pattern inside that border. Okay, I can see where my border is, and I need to move this is how I had done that before, so I can just move that out of the way. We'll just move that down there, and I'll also get rid of that border. So this is the end of what I need to be putting in here, and this little pattern right here is exactly the right size. So let's start with that, and obviously we're going to need to turn it a little bit. We'll make it, let's see, and I know I'm going to need this piece, so let's bring this up here. Then we'll move the whole thing in the middle of the screen like that and make it all bigger so that I can see exactly what I need to do with the pattern. So we'll take this pattern and we'll move it right along the edge. I'm looking at this edge over here because I want it to be exactly on the line. And let's see, I have a little bit more area over here, and it's kind of going over the line there. So let's just turn it just a little tiny bit more this way. There we go. Slide it down a little bit. There we go. And then let's put this piece in, and then we can resize if we need to. Now you can see it's going to go in right there. And it's going to have to fit right on that line. There we go. And then we can just use our handles to bring this in a little bit, and it needs to come back up here so it's right on that line. And then I think this pattern can go in just a little bit there, and that gets it all inside. Our line up here looks good. Everything is fitting, so I'm going to highlight all of that and combine the patterns. And so I'm ready to stitch. And I will make sure that everything else on my screen is red, all the things I've been working on. Let's just make sure everything else is turned red. All right. So now all we have to do is just put start and go over to our quilt. I'm using white thread in this outside border because I just love the way that it looks on the white. But I do have Minky on the back, and that Minky is not just Minky, it's a little bit heavier fur, and it's called Hide. It's Shannon's Minky. And so you do see some of the black shadowing through the stitches, and once in a while it will pull a little bit of the Minky fur up with the stitch, depending on how the Minky's laying on the back and which direction your machine's going. So you do get a little bit of that, and you might, I guess the solution would be to use black thread, which is because the back is black. So be aware of that. I really like this little design. It's so simple. It's one of my little designs. It's just half circle with a circle in it. And so I thought it'd be very pretty to put in here. I usually do those small ones by hand, but by freehand. But today I'm going to use the Statler. So I need to just put where this area is. So I will just toggle over, and then I can just click. I'm right on the side of where I was, and then just come over, and I can make as many clicks on this as I need to make sure that I know exactly where that border is. Come right over here and right to the corner and then back. Because you know, this may not be exactly straight. That's okay, because we can make sure that we click it right. There we go. And so now we'll go to the computer and put the pattern in. Here's my border, and here's my pattern that I want to put in here. And you can see that if I put this pattern in, I'll come right over to the edge. There we go. Okay. Now I am going to rubber stamp it so I have exactly the same size, and then I can get rid of that, or at least put it over there. So now I have two, and I'm just going to move that down the way it needs to be and turn it just slightly. I think I'll use these handles right here. Just come in like that, and then I want to combine those patterns so I can use this and bring them in together. There we go. Okay, and I think we're ready to sew that. We'll make sure the rest of everything else that's on the screen is turned red, so we'll tell it it's sewn already, so that it won't try to sew those. And we're ready to go. The outside border is kind of a little busy fabric, and I could have put a pattern there, but I thought let's do some freehand in there. So what I'm doing is swirls and crescents, so like half circles. Swirl, it's really fun because it is really free. Kind of a meandering with swirls and half circles. And then every so often I will put a feather in. Just kind of echo them. It doesn't have to be like a whole feather. See that? Like I can go right off the side over there. Kind of just keep things swirly and curly. so fun. And boy, does that go fast. Making sure that I'm right on the edge of this quilt so she won't have any trouble binding it. And just some echoes there. Come right back in there. There we go. I clicked around the area that I want to put this feather medallion in. This is one that I recorded, and I'm going to record the next one too, and I will make a pattern for it because I looked at all the patterns that I could find that would fit in this area and look really great. I decided that freehand was the best way for me to go, so I will record the pattern so you can download it for free in the pattern cloud. So this is for a hunter star, and I'm going to put the feather medallion in this area. It's a little harder to see on the quilt because it is of the different fabrics, and I'm using the kind of a neutral thread. All right, this entire block right here is what I want to put the feather medallion in, and I've already stabilized the stars with my continuous curve, but I do want to do just a real simple, some loops here for the middle. So I'm just putting this here, and I can only see it. I'm just marking the outside of this circle with chalk. So I can see that. And of course you could do the whole circle, but there's no reason to do that. I just need to know how far to come up as I'm coming around with my teardrop shapes. So that's what I'm going to do, and I will go over to my, I have it so it's real easy just to toggle right over to my constant. Okay, I'm going to start right there in the middle, and I'm going to do my 4 loops, one down and up and one to each of the sides. And if you practice this on paper, you'll get really good at making them pretty even. And then I will take off and go into one of the wings there so you can see how I'm going to do that. I'm also going to push record so we can see what we get on the screen. So I just push record right there. Okay, here we go. And a loop up to my mark, and a loop up to my mark, and then I come all the way up here, and I come around with the beginning of my feather there. And I don't mind if these feathers don't follow each other up. They have a little space in between. As you can see, I have to put one clear over there, then I do a smaller one, and then again I have to come clear into this area, and then I do a little bit smaller one, and then I come clear over to this line and then down to the middle. Then I come up again, and I do 3 feathers in this arrow point here, reach over and back, following the stem back, and then a little bit smaller one, and then reach over and then back, and a smaller one, and then another big one coming over to the middle. And let's just come right down here now. So again, we're putting 3 feathers in those areas. A little one here. Fill in that area. Reach clear over to the side there, and then back up. These feathers really show up, especially in the light area on the quilt. Clear over halfway, and then we'll come down here. And I have actually timed this, and it takes me 3 minutes, a little less than 3 minutes, to sew this in. And I know it would take a lot longer just even to click around this area and have the machine stitch it. So freehand right now is certainly the way to go if you feel like you're confident enough that you can do it. And if you practice your feathers, I know you can. And you have to really concentrate so you get the same amount of feathers and that they look pretty symmetrical all the way around. And one more area right here. Nice big teardrop. 1, 2, 3. Little shorter one there. Reach out with this one. Shorter here. And then reach out with this one and back in there to the middle. And then the other side. And stop. So here's what we just quilted, and it did record right here on the screen. So I can look at these, I can refine them, and turn them into a pattern, which is amazing. Okay, I want to show you what I did in these stars, and there's lots of ideas that you could use in these stars. You could do 1/4 inch all the way around, or repeat it and echo it. You could do thread painting around it. I'm starting in the middle of this star, and I'm going to do the continuous curve. So you can see how I do that. And so I'm just going to come over here like that with a slight curve, slight curve, slight curve, slight curve back. And I just do that in each one. And down and back and over and curve and down and back and over and curve. I want to show you on this side a little bit different approach, and that is just kind of do this half circle, touch there, and do half circle here, and do half circle here, touch there, and come over here. And then when you go back to the middle, then you can come up and down and up and down and up and down. It's not really going to matter which you choose. I would say just pick one that you like. By doing the outside first, I think I get a little bit prettier star on the back of the quilt, and then my insides. There were lots of stars to do on here, but they are beautiful. So I know my friend Janadine is going to love her quilt. It was such an honor to work on Janadine's wonderful hunter star. I love each of the border designs that I did. I love the stars, and I loved recording that feather medallion. And that will definitely be on the pattern cloud, and it will be Linda's or LT's hunter star. So you can look for that if you're interested in that or the other borders. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy doing these projects for you, and just want you to know how much I love it. I am still so passionate about quilting. Join me next time for a surprise.